living in the Philippines, it's difficult to get by without knowing what's going on back home. I got some sad news today. One of my oldest friends, we've been friends since, I'd say 3 years old. His name was Nelson Walker Jr. Everybody called him Peanut. Well, his family called him Peanut, and anybody that was close knew him as Peanut. But one of my earliest remembrances of Nelson was when I think 3 years old. I saw this kid across the street, Route 1 in Searsport, Main Street, East Main Street, and he was yelling something across the street to me, and I was trying to hear. I couldn't understand what he was saying, but he was yelling. So somehow the discussion ended up as a rock fight. He would throw a rock, I threw a rock, he threw a rock, I threw a rock. And ironically, somehow I ended up with a piece of slate. And knowing the aerodynamics, even at 3 or 4 years old, I would have to pitch it almost sidearm to get it to go anywhere near him. And I threw it, and by golly, it hit him right in the belly button, just above the belt buckle. It doubled him over. He was crying. He went home up the stairs to the apartment. His mother came down. My mother came out, and it was, don't throw rocks at each other anymore. Well, it was okay. So eventually, Peanut and I became buddies. And the second memory I have was somehow we came to the conclusion that we could make money by selling my sister's crayons door to door. And the block that I lived on, we were on Route 1. The nearest side street was Moreland Road. Going east, going west, the nearest side road was Reservoir Street. And then there was a cross street called Union Street. Well, Peanut and I were going door to door, knocking on the doors. When the mother would come to the door, we'd hold up the crayons and say, a nickel? A nickel? And some of them would say, okay, give a nickel to us, and we'd run along to the next house and sell another crayon or get turned away. We had made it almost completely around the block when all of a sudden we realized we'd been busted. One of the mothers called my mother, and my mother had a handful of my sister's crayons that she had collected. And that was the end of that enterprise. But it was a memory. And we lost Nelson this week. Not really sure how he passed away, but 64 years old, 63 years old is definitely too young to pass away. And rest in peace, my brother.